Hi you guys. I'm Eon. I have a YouTube channel called BLUNT Misguided, and we'll put our contact information below.
I'm Dami. I have a YouTube channel. It's Dear Dami, and you'll also see my contact information below.
And right now, our podcast is called Black Girl Therapy. Last week, we were known as Blunt Lola, but we're going through some name changes right now, which we'll ask you guys how you feel about that.
Right. So, also, if you guys have any suggestions on names, you could just comment them, and then we can decide on which one to do by doing a poll or whatever. So yeah, please give us ideas. We are having brain farts right now. We don't really know.
So when we put our information below, we would either take the poll on Instagram. You know how to do it through the...
Yeah, I know how to do it.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. So you can go to a link below to Dami's Instagram page, and she'll do the poll. And you guys can also comment suggestions in the comments below, and we'll check it out. So...
Oh, we should make an Instagram.
For a joint one?
Yeah, for the
Stop.
podcast.
We can.
Okay, wait. If that's cool with y'all, if that's what y'all want or whatever.
Yeah. We'll make one, and then if we do, it'll be linked below as well.
Yeah.
So into our topics, we're gonna kind of do this as a speed round because our first podcast was very long.
Too long.
Yes.
You know, that's something you listen. You when you out for a drive, when you're doing a road trip or whatever, you should listen to that. But if not, maybe just the first 30 minutes or something.
But I mean, if you have the time, do listen because we spoke on some real hot topics. But this podcast will be one, speaking about open relationships.
Two, we're gonna be talking about Tamira. Should her black card be revoked due to her racist husband?
And then finally, we'll close with speaking about Women Crush Wednesdays and Men Crush Mondays and viewers' takes on it.
Oh, we missed one topic. Slick Johnson.
Oh, yeah, we'll be talking about Slick Johnson, too. Her little valid self or whatever. She's pregnant.
Oh, well, she's no longer pregnant. Yeah.
How do you pronounce it? Is it Sopher?
I don't know.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but we'll be talking about her later on as well. And how we're going to do this is each topic, we're going to time ourselves and give us 10 minutes. And if you guys have any input, again, that you guys thought we missed or anything, you guys could comment that below. So I'm going to go get this timer ready. And then we'll introduce some questions that we had about each of them. So timer has started now.
Cool.
So open relationships. Our first question was, do you think these can be considered real relationships?
Well, I actually just had a conversation about this with someone, and they felt very strongly that, if you're in an open relationship, you might as well be single, because then what is the point of the relationship?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it depends on what your definition of relationship is.
Mm-hmm.
So if you define relationship as a committed union, then clearly it couldn't be taken as a relationship. But if your definition of a relationship is something different or something more, I don't know, I don't know how to explain that. Mm-hmm. Just something outside of that.
We're just romantic or whatever, a romantic situation.
Right. Then it can be taken as a real relationship. It all depends on, I feel like, the person and what they define relationships to be.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it's a real relationship. From my take of relationships, I just feel like it involves people who are committed to each other. And it's not to say that people in open relationships can't be committed, but in my head, when I think of it oh, this one person isn't able to satisfy me in all areas. So it's I kind of need to bring in other people that could satisfy different areas of my life that this person is unable to. It's kind of you haven't really met that one person that you feel can really meet your standards in every way. So you have to find different people to fill in those gaps.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So I'm just dang, I mean, there's a YouTuber actually. I love her channel or whatever. Something body. I'm gonna put, if I'm fancy or whatever, I'm gonna try to write out her name in this video when we done editing it or whatever. But she's actually in a marriage and it's an open marriage.
What?
Or whatever. So
Shit.
in my head, like, I just think that that's like,
that's so like
it's
interesting.
different.
It is
because it's just like. It's like, are y'all together and they're just casually bringing people to and fro? Because I just feel
are
like...
they like swingers? Like, do they
yeah,
like swing?
at some point, does it become swingers? Because it's like, when you're in the house, could they bring other people in the house? Because it's like, are they sleeping in your bed? Like, where are these things happening? Because it's almost like you're not completely able to commit to every person because this one person's your main person. So, like, in some areas, your love to the other people are kind of limited.
I feel like it really depends on like how y'all do it. Like, let's say y'all are swingers or whatever. That would mean that you would have to. Usually, I think what people do is they themselves are going to be sleeping with other couples, like couples sleeping with couples. But
is that an orgy then?
No, well, it depends on. I don't know. Is that an orgy though? Like
a group of people like just messing it out?
Yeah, but if it's like two couples, then like I think it's more specifically swingers. Mm-hmm. But if you're just bringing one person. Mm-hmm. And like only you are doing it, you're not doing that with your partner, like y'all not having a threesome or whatever, then that's kind of like, I feel like that's even more open. Because I feel like couples with couples, that's a little different, because then it's like you only do it like with those couples or whatever, and then you go back home to your own couple.
Yeah. So, like, are you basically doing that because the person you're with isn't able to completely satisfy your needs?
I would feel like if you're going out by yourself to do that, then yeah. But if you're a couple, like if you're doing it as a couple,
then
maybe
y'all just
it's
trying
different.
to spice up the relationship.
Yeah, maybe
y'all just trying to have a little fun. I think based on your definition of how you said it, it kind of reminds me of Tiana Taylor and Iman.
Yeah.
Because with her, like, you can tell like they're in a satisfied relationship.
Yeah.
But I guess the way Tiana was explaining it is that you guys already know that you love each other. You guys already know that y'all in the long haul. Like, y'all are going to be here for a while. So it's just like you guys are trying to experiment. Like, you want to try different things so you never get tired because you're always being spontaneous. You're always trying new things. But I wouldn't consider Tiana's situation an open relationship. Because she's not just out here, like, just grabbing random people. Like, she's saying when they go on vacation or trips, like, if it happens, they, like, occasionally pick people. So, like,
I feel like that's different.
Very different. Because everybody knows, like, this is my girl, this is my dude. We're just, like, from time to time, we like to play.
Yeah, so it would be more like we as a union, we're fucking this person.
Yeah.
Not like I'm fucking this person outside of my marriage.
Yeah. But, like, in an open relationship, I guess you could still be committed because a lot of people who have open relationships, they basically say that it's all about communication. So as long as your partner is completely aware of all the people that you're messing with for safety reasons.
And all the steps that's going on.
Yeah, so that you're not putting either one's health at risk, then I guess you could still say it's a committed relationship because they're making the other person constantly aware. It's just that in my head, it kind of sounds like, oh, I have one favorite. Like, this is the person who my loyalty is dedicated to. And then these other people are, like...
satisfying me sexually.
Like, satisfying me because this person is unable to. I don't know. It's just in my head, it doesn't make sense.
Really? That's
because,
so
like,
weird. I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking about in open marriages. Because if you're married to this person,
marriage
like, polygamy is not legal. So that means if you're married to this person...
I think in one state it could be.
Is it Nevada?
I don't know.
Because Nevada be out here wilding out. So, like, if you're married to this one person, to me that's like, oh, I have favorite. Like, this is the person I'm most committed to,
and the other situations
are limited
too.
Yeah,
because when you become married, all of your assets are tied. So it's not just like, oh, I like this person. It's like we are in a financial
situation.
Yeah, we are in a financial union. It goes deeper than, oh, I love you or oh, I like you. That shit is deep, bro.
But is that different from when they're not married? Because if you're
feel like
married,
it would be.
Because if you're married, then, like, obviously this is the person your loyalty is gonna be to. Because on paper, this is the person you're connected to. But, like, if you guys aren't married, married and y'all just dating a bunch of people, in my head that sounds like casual dating.
I feel like that would be more under casual dating, and maybe like you do have your favorite with dating. You know, when people date multiple people at a time, maybe they just have like that favorite person that you know they like, but you know you're still trying to understand like who you are and who you want.
Yeah,
you know,
because a lot of people say like, what do you call it when it's one person monogamy?
Yeah,
There's like monogamy is not natural to human life. It's like no, you're just trying to play. Like,
I mean, I feel like they try to use like the animal kingdom to like sort of be like, okay, well, you know, animals are not monogamous, and also, I mean, in ancient like you know, in the ancient world, like monogamy wasn't really a thing until like I don't know.
A lot of people say religion. A lot of people say that before European colonization, that a lot of African regions practice polygamy, and that some still do. I don't know, but
they do. But it's not, and I feel like people need to understand that those places, it's not just men having a bunch of wives. It's also places where women have a bunch of husbands.
I always hear about men though. Yeah, that must be lit.
I mean,
have you seen like the women?
Yeah, I saw like it was in like some videos. I wish I knew the name. I would have like told y'all, but it was in some like documentary, and it was talking about this tribe. I think it was in Central Africa. But anyways, the women, they would have more than one husband, and in that culture, women are seen as more superior, and men are actually kind of like a little bit below women.
I watched a documentary or something like that. If I find out, I'll let you know. Dang, we under a minute. We ain't even touched the other questions. But we'll put some more of our views in the comments below for time reasoning.
And also, like, comment, like, would you be in an open relationship? Have you been in an open relationship? How did it go? You know, like, tell us, like, all about that.
And let us know if you don't agree with any of our comments. That's cool, too.
Yeah, please.
The next question was, do you think women often enter these relationships to save their current relationship? So, like, if your partner, like he or she is thinking about open relationships, do you think that people often get into these type of relationships to maintain their current situation?
I feel like that would have to do with a lot of things. Honestly, I'm not sure. It depends also, like, what's, like, are they still, like, let's say your partner's bisexual. So if they're seeing, like, the same sex, then you may want to have a more deeper conversation about that. I don't know.
So you're saying, like, for example, if you were to talk to a guy and the guy would want to talk to another guy, you're saying that
that person's still trying to find themselves. So, like, that could be, I mean, yeah, you may be trying to maintain that relationship, but it may not have a good foundation if that person is still trying to, like, find themselves in their sexuality. In that like respect. But there's different types of, like, situations, I guess, that there could be.
So for them, you think that if your partner wants to be in an open relationship with someone that's the same sex as them, it could be them trying to experiment, which could kind of be a red flag for you, saying they might not all the way be committed to you guys' situation?
Yeah. It just depends on, like, where that person's at in, like, accepting who they are as, you know, like, just sexually, like, their sexual orientation. And it also depends on, like, if they're, like, a virgin in that area. So then, like, if that is, then it's, like, it could be a little bit more complicated. And my advice would be, like, early on in the relationship, or even before they get, if y'all want to get into a relationship, maybe let that person, like, do what they gotta do to, like, see and truly understand themselves, and then see if, you know, you still want to work that out. But most people are not that patient, and they just gonna do that. So it's really up to, like, how committed you are, how much you care about that person, things like that.
How do I feel about it? I do. I do feel like sometimes women put themselves in this situation because they feel like it'll make the guy stay around.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Not saying all women do that, because to be honest, I probably would have walked away. Like, I would have dubbed it and I would have left. But I also never been in a situation where I felt like I really, really loved someone.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, being that I, like, don't have feelings and I never felt that way towards someone.
Being that she is a cold heart, like, she's just like a skull.
So, like, maybe since I haven't reached that level of intimacy with someone yet, maybe I'm not completely able to, like, communicate why people may do this. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like people, like, women get into these relationships because they don't want to appear boring, or they don't want to appear like, oh, like, I'm a prude, I don't want to experiment. Mm-hmm. Like, they feel like if they show how, like, sexually free and liberated they are, that maybe the guy that they're with would want to stay around because they'll think like they'll never get bored or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about the Love and Hip Hop situation. Oh, do y'all watch Love and Hip Hop? Do y'all? I know I should be ashamed for watching it. I know I should be ashamed or whatever, but I do be watching it. And like, you know the clip where Tierra Marie, Akbar or whatever.
Oh yes, that whole situation, bitch.
When he brought Tierra Marie in or whatever, so disgusted. And then the wife came in, and the wife was like, "This is why you should make me pick. This is why you should make me pick. Like, we gotta do it together." Da 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 da. I felt like you could tell. Yo, the background right now.
That ass.
Sorry about the background noise, you guys. We're in a public library at our school, so it's like you're gonna hear voices.
You know you open your heads mad loud and shit.
But in that situation, when she was saying, "Oh, that's why I have to be there when you're picking or whatever," you could tell that like she doesn't really like the idea of him being in an open relationship, but she's mostly doing it because she feels like that's something he needs or whatever. Because it's like, if you didn't care, if you just wanted both of y'all to be free or whatever, like, why does it matter who he's picking?
I feel like in their situation, it's almost like they're one union though. Mm-hmm. So like, it's not just them like sleeping together with other people. I feel like it's them like literally all together, like being one like union. So like those two girls that are with him, they're supposed to be with him. Like if they want to bring someone else in their polygamous relationship or whatever, they're supposed to like go out. The way you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go out and choose somebody altogether. If y'all all agree, then that person's now a part of like your whole like
that's what confuses relationship. Me. That's what confuses me. I feel like that's what she in her head thought.
Clearly, that was not what he was thinking.
That's what I'm saying. Know? But my thing that's weird to me, because like it seems like he's the one messing around, and she's because she doesn't have any outside relationships, and
she
it's
just
like
has the relationship with the other girl.
But it seemed like her and the other girl don't even mess with each other like that.
It really doesn't.
They got into an argument during the thing too. She was like, "I'm supposed to be number one, and Shorty over here is supposed to be number two."
They look like some dumbass bitches. Not to hold you, they look like some dumbass whores. Like.
So that's what I'm saying, like, oh, let me move closer to the thing. That's what I'm saying, like, in their situation, it kind of seems like she didn't want to be in an open relationship. Mm-hmm. She want to be number one, and she wants him to, like, just be able to mess around with people, but always keep her as number one. Yeah. But it's like, you're in an open relationship where you're telling him he has free range. So it's like, their situation, I just felt like she just did that because she wants to be with him. Mm-hmm. Like, she doesn't, like, if he woke up one day and was like, I want to be in a committed relationship with just me and you, and she gonna get that other girl, the Hercules, if he kicks her out, then she would be A-okay with it. Like, and then we see these constant situations where we see people who are married, like, men
just dominating the whole thing. See, that's how you know you're not in a true sexually liberated relationship. If the man is making all the choices for you and he's the one picking out the people, then you're not in a polygamous, you're not in what's supposed to be a truly liberated
relationship.
Polygamous relationship. Because clearly you the servant. Yeah, that's what y'all look like. Y'all look like slaves.
Because that's what I always hear. Like, it's always like, For my husband, we can do girl on girl, and the guy and my husband be there because men find that attractive. But you never hear two men and one girl.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
why is it automatically assumed that a girl would want to sleep with another girl? Like,
It's
I just
because,
feel like
women are just objects in men's eyes. Just
But I'm saying,
standard,
like, women be agreeing to these things. Like, they agree to these things. So it's like, in my head, I feel like they do this because they feel like, oh, like, he'll stay around because he won't get bored with me.
Yeah,
But it's
like I'm
who
fun
want-
or whatever. But it's like, sis, you look dumb right now.
Like,
You look very dumb right now.
we done messed up the speed round, but it's whatever. We'll do speed round for when we talk about Tamara. But the last question was, how to have healthy open relationships. What issues you think you would have with an open relationship?
I would say again, just communication. See, and I feel like this is how I feel like. I feel like if you want to do like the whole open relationship, I think that it's best that you and your partner have sex with someone else, not just you going off or your partner going off, because then it can get kind of messy that way. But if you guys are always doing things together and picking people together to do stuff with, then it just reinforces that you guys are a union and that you guys still care about each other.
Yeah.
And communication is the number one thing. Like, don't go off like just doing things on your own. Always like have your partner there every step of the way, like making sure that this is okay, you're okay with this, because y'all need to communicate.
But see, in my head, the way you're defining it, that's how I would think of an open marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Like the couple going off and picking people.
Mm-hmm.
But like, say if it's like an open relationship where they're not married or whatever, in my head, one person would go off. And then the other person would just be aware that they're each doing their own thing or whatever. Like, I think that's probably in my head the difference between swingers and then people who are like in a romantic situation where they're not married or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like, again, like you said, communication would be the most important thing about having a healthy open relationship.
Because STDs are very real.
That's another
and they
thing.
harm.
That's another thing. Like, aside from communicating, don't be out here like having unprotected sex.
Right.
Like, what are you doing?
No, y'all need to go ahead and get yourselves checked before y'all have sex with anybody else. That person needs to be checked. You need to see that person is checked to make sure that everything is okay. Because if you come back to your partner and some shit is looking crazy, it's not gonna be
It's all on you.
It's not gonna be a good day, sis. You know what? Just wrap yourself back into bed. Don't or if you're a guy, wrap yourself back into bed and just start the whole day over. Start the whole day over.
I think you could go to jail for that too.
Oh,
like
yes.
if you pass STD to someone
and you don't tell someone,
you could get arrested for that or whatever. But
that's
like,
especially if it's like God forbid, but especially if it's like HIV or
that's a big
yes. There's a big like stigma around that, especially like in criminal justice. Like you could really do big time. Like if you know and if you don't tell someone. And if that person can prove that they didn't tell you, like you're going to prison.
That was the episode of The Girlfriends. Did you ever watch The Girlfriends growing up?
Oh yes, my girlfriends. Okay, that was.
There was an episode where Joan or whatever her college friend caught HIV from her husband that was like moving around.
Oh my God.
But it's kind of related to the situation that you brought up earlier, how the other person might want to have sex with someone of the same sex or gender as them. He was having sex with other men unprotected. Ooh. And he contracted HIV and passed it on to her.
Shit.
I was like, oh
damn.
But we forgot what are some issues you would have with open relationships. I couldn't do it, I'm being honest. Like, I just feel like if I really get in my feelings, I know sometimes I can be very passionate. So yeah. I just feel like, why are you with somebody else? Why do you need somebody else? Like, are you trying to say I'm not enough? If I'm not enough, we don't really need to be together. Like, I just feel like maybe, like, you need to travel somewhere else on your own. Yeah. For you to, like, find what you're looking for, because clearly I'm not it. Like, I just feel like I couldn't do it.
I feel like...
But honestly, I respect y'all who do it. Like, I just don't have the same... I'm not built the same.
Yeah, honestly... That shit is hard, y'all. Like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know, y'all. I don't know about that.
Like, do you think you could be the type of person where like your boyfriend or girlfriend is like talking to someone and you could just like be okay with it? Like they could be walking down the street holding hands, and like you could see them be like, "Hi, you guys. How are we doing today?"
Nah, that's really crazy. But cause I feel like that's like it's just weird. Cause then it's just like I feel like also I'm a protective person. Like I get very territorial. So I don't think that could be an option for me. But if that's an option for you, go ahead, do what you gotta do. You know, and if you're happy with that, go ahead. Because not everybody wants the same things in relationships. Not everybody defines relationships the same. So
That's true.
you know, whatever you define a relationship to be, and you're happy with that, be happy with that. You know?
Yeah, because I understand, like, some people may feel like they don't always have the time in their life to commit to, like, a one-on-one type of relationship. Like, they want to be able to move around and do their own things. And a lot of people also believe in multiple soulmates. So they feel like you might have, like, other people that can also satisfy you or bring something new to you that you just feel like you can't live without.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're one of those people where you just feel like you should be able to freely do your thing, and as long as you guys are all happy and safe, that you don't see the issue, that's completely understandable. Like, that's your right. You should be able to do that or whatever. But I couldn't do that. So our next topic, Tia, oh I'm sorry, Tamara and her husband Adam Housley.
Okay, so basically, Tamara, to give you a little background information, Tamara went on her platform. Well, not just her platform, but you know the one she's on. Yeah, the Real. She went on the Real. So basically, it was her husband wasn't even the topic, but she like sort of diverted to her husband to answer a question. And basically all she was doing was trying to defend her white husband, basically saying like, my husband's not racist. And y'all, if I just the clip of her saying that, she sounded like a white woman. I'm not even wrong. Like she sounded like a white woman. I don't know any way. The way, you know, just like the stereotypical white, like
the white voice.
Yes, like I'm not a racist. I love Obama. Like I don't know how to do it for y'all, but she was really in her feelings. And yo, if you just saw what's her name, Adriana Bylum, whatever her name
Adrian Bylum.
But yeah, and then the other black girl on the show, I forgot.
Lonnie Love.
Yes,
I love the show. So,
so both of them, they were just looking like,
are you sure?
But they didn't say shit though.
Lonnie is close with them. That's why it seemed like Lonnie be talking to them.
But her face was speaking for her. That's all I could say. Her face was speaking for her. And if y'all don't know, basically Tamara's husband, he works for Fox News, and there are multiple tweets on Twitter about him basically responding to people on his platform about black issues. So, for example, there's tweets about him responding about the whole Trayvon Martin situation. And a lot of people, a lot of people of color were saying basically like, this was a devastating thing to happen to a young black kid. And, they're saying that it's racially motivated. Which it was. I believe it was. And Tamara's husband does not believe it was racially motivated. He believes that same situation could have happened to a white person. Even if that same situation happened to a white person, America would not respond in the same way that they did for Trayvon Martin. People would have been on their freaking rooftops shouting like for Zimmerman's head to be off. All these white people, all these it would have gotten more news attention, and he probably would have gotten convicted. So let's let that simmer, And
you know what's the funny thing about that too? Like how you said America would have responded to it differently if it was a white person.
Yeah.
I feel like black people would have been on it too.
Black
people would have been like, see, we was telling y'all the whole time that the justice system is corrupt. Black people would have been going off. Like, so it's just that like I feel like it just sends a message to how America, generally speaking, feels about black people.
Yeah.
Because what was it? How they was doing the riots in Virginia or whatever, and they had the pitchforks. What do you call it? the tiki sticks, whatever.
Yeah, the tiki
and like
torches.
there was like marching, and it was basically a bunch of white students protesting or whatever.
Yeah.
And a white girl who was an ally, a woman, she was killed. And you saw like how all the black people backed her and was like going after how evil these people are for attacking her and everything else.
Basically, we show out for y'all, but y'all don't show out.
That's the thing. It just shows how like America, generally speaking, feels about black people. Because Zimmerman out here acting a whole fool. Like, I'm surprised nobody caught him yet. Like, you saw the post he did or whatever, where he was like meeting with someone,
yes,
like Nazi
organizations,
Nazi organizations, and there was like he was signing Skittles and passing them out and stuff like that.
And it's like, how can you endorse something like that? And he was saying basically both. It was a loss for both sides, and it's like,
shut up.
There's only one side, and that's Trayvon's side. Okay,
but I'm just saying,
come
like,
on.
I'm just saying. How are you guys losing at all? Like, who is the side that he's saying losing?
It was one person that died. Let's get that straight.
It's one person that died, but you have to remember his family that he left behind. His mother. Who
what
was
does Zimmerman lose
crying.
Exactly?
He's still out here living his whole life. Like,
probably gonna kill somebody else.
Living his whole life or whatever.
That's the thing. And I feel like that is so insensitive of him to say. And the thing is, I'm not surprised, especially because he works for Fox, that he's saying these things. Like, Fox loves people that have opinions like that. That is very, like,
controversial, which makes sense.
Controversial, but it's always like against black people. It's always against like the liberation of black people, minorities, and it's like, Tamara, let's keep it 100. Let's keep it $150. You married to this nigga, okay?
Black card revoked.
I think that your black card needs to be revoked. Tia don't fuck with you. I see Tia don't fuck with you like that no more. And I see why, bitch. Like, I see, like, no, listen, Tamara. You was cool and everything.
Listen, Linda.
But as soon as you got married to him, like, honestly, I feel like I really couldn't respect that just because of who that person is. It's not because he's white, but it's because of what he stands for. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, he's always making these very, like, racist remarks. Like, there's no way about it. He tries to
excuse racism altogether, which is annoying.
And then, you know what he said about his son? He said, because somebody was like, how can you say this? Your son is black. And then he said, my son is black and white. He's not just black, he's also white. And it's like, okay, now you need to get with the program that when your son walks out into the world, they're not going to look at him and say, oh, he's still half white. They're going to look at him and say he's black.
See, they're not on that part, I think, like, I might agree with him.
I mean, yes, he's biracial, but at the end of the day, he's still black. And he doesn't look complete, like, you know, he's not white passing.
Like, he's not white passing, but I wouldn't look at him and automatically say, oh, a little black boy. Because, like, he has blue eyes, blonde hair.
He has blonde hair?
Yeah, he has blonde hair. It's like a dirty blonde.
Oh, like one of those? Oh,
yeah, okay. And then Tamara and Tia both did the Ancestry.com, and they have, like, a higher European percentage, like ancestry, compared to them. So they're more white than black, even though they look more black. So it's like, I mean, those percentages don't matter, because regardless, when you look at them, you see two black girls, or whatever. But when you see her son, you can tell, like, he would somewhat have, like, light skin privilege. Or like he's not going to experience the world that the average black person experiences it, or whatever. But I don't think he will be completely treated as a white person.
Exactly, and that's the thing that people need to, like, understand. What I'm trying to say is, like, that can happen to his son. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, that same situation can happen to
now his daughter, especially, is who he need to worry about, because his daughter is brown. Like,
yeah, and it's just like, I feel like for your answer to be like, somebody's trying to bring light to the fact that your son is black and is going to deal with black issues, and if you're going to have that same energy that you're having with Trayvon Martin about your son, clearly, like, you would not have that same energy. So it's like, you really need to, like, really think about what you're doing and what you're saying, you know, for your children. It's not just about you anymore. It's actually about your children now. And I feel like that's the thing about interracial relationships. You need to make sure that your partner that is non-black knows, like, how to, like, especially when you have children, how to handle certain situations. And you got to make sure that their outlook matches yours. And Tamara, if that's how you feel, then I feel like you don't care about black people, Tamara. That's honestly how I feel.
But you know, who else sometimes when you watch the reel, it seems like, not to say they don't care about black people, but like sometimes when I watch the reel and they bring up black topics, it irks me when Lonnie like shuts down the topics.
Wait, which one is Lonnie again?
Lonnie, she's the comedian. She's dark skinned, kind of chubby. She like would shut down the topics. Like she'd be like, "Oh, a lot of black issues today," or she'd be like, she would just sit there being quiet. Which a lot of the segments she doesn't always completely participate. But like when she does that, I'm just like, you as a black person and then a dark skinned black woman on top of it. Like, wouldn't you want to speak about these things?
I feel like honestly, the thing is, people. I feel like they look to her to respond automatically because she's black, and I feel like I really know like how that feels because I grew up in a predominantly white high school, and it's like when whenever a black topic comes up or slavery, y'all learn about slavery or some shit, everybody's looking at you, like the teacher's asking, everybody's looking at you, so it's like you don't even want to speak because it's like you don't represent all of black, like, every black person has a different opinion, but I do still feel like she should be a little bit more vocal and stop avoiding the topics, especially because it's like you have this platform for people and you could speak up for people that look like you, even if you don't have the same like opinion, like you could also put that in like, hey, not every black woman thinks like this. You know what I'm trying to say?
Like that's one thing I feel like it should automatically be assumed that we don't have the same beliefs. But on top of it, all the women on the panel are people of color. So on some level, they've experienced racism, xenophobia, sexism, like all these different systems of oppression. So it's like I feel like she should be able to communicate these things because they somewhat or probably have experienced them as well. And then predominantly most of the people in the audience are people of color or women. So it's like, what exactly, like, it's not like you're the only black person, like you're not the only black voice because it's an audience full of black people, or at least people of color. But let's try to segue into our thing. You kind of mentioned it earlier. Can you be pro-black in an interracial relationship?
Okay, basically, I feel like you can. And I feel like a good example is Kalechi. I'm going to leave her information down below, too. She is an activist. She's also, I believe she's a writer. I know she's a creator also on YouTube. So I'm going to leave her information. Basically, that's gonna be a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But she was on The Grapevine. If you guys watch The Grapevine, then y'all know exactly what happened. You could check out their episode on interracial relationships, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You can go on Twitter and see what the beef was. But I feel like you can. But in the instance of Tamara and her husband, I don't feel like they're in a pro-black relationship, and I feel like she like also mirrors what a lot of
his beliefs are?
Yes.
Dang.
Because just because like you have to always say this to us. My husband is not racist. My husband is not this. My husband is not that. If you have to defend him so much, then maybe you need to think about that a little bit. If you feel the need to defend him so much, then that means that there's a problem. Because that means you don't feel secure in that relationship, or you don't feel secure about like what is actually going on, how he is. So you need to like go back to Mara and really think about that.
I could understand why she would feel the need to defend her husband, but I also feel like, again, it might not be considered a pro-black relationship, because if that's your husband, you should also be able to correct him when he's doing wrong. So it's like, if you know what he's saying is ignorant, why would you just sit in the ignorance?
And I feel like, especially when kids are involved, if after you've had kids and you still speaking out the same ignorance, then I definitely feel like you're not in a pro-black relationship. And this just reminds me of like Kim and Kanye. Y'all remember when Kim she took her freaking annoying ass on Instagram or Snapchat or whatever, and was talking about Jeffree Star and like, hey my fans, like whatever.
Dr. Man.
Hey my fans, hey my loves. Well, she didn't say that because she's not cool like freaking Monique, but whatever. But anyway, she was basically defending Jeffree Star and was like, hey, you know what, he's grown, this, that, and third. But she didn't even know the whole like situation to the fullest, and she actually came back to apologize. And that's the only reason she came back to apologize is because Black Twitter dragged her ass. And, she had to come back and save herself, which she did not save herself, but, she thought she did. But it's just the same thing like that. And it's just like...
So does that make you question Kanye's
Of
pro-blackness?
course. Of course, Kanye, because you're in a relationship with this person, you're having children with this person, and those children, even if they're biracial, they still are black. They're a different type of black, but that they're still black at the end of the day. And that speaks on how you feel about, like, it looks bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if your children go up and they see that, and then they want to talk to you about that, and they feel like, it's like an embarrassment as a parent. Like, I feel like I'm not no parent. I'm not trying to... I know I sound like I'm preaching right now, but like, honestly, I'm so embarrassed for her. Like, that was just like a big L. Like, same thing with Tamara. You just look like really embarrassing right now. No, I'm dead ass. You look really embarrassing right now.
For me, short answer, do I think you could be in an interracial relationship and be pro-black? Yes, I do. I feel like if your partner is
active,
like if they're an ally and they like support the movement, they're not speaking against it like it seems Adam is, then I feel like you can definitely be in an interracial relationship and be pro-black. Like, as long as they're not spewing ignorance and you're not
trying to
agreeing with the
whitewash you
ignorance.
down.
Yeah, accept your blackness.
Yeah, like, I don't know if y'all heard, but there was this thing we talked about in one of my, like, well, it wasn't my discussion, but it was a discussion that I went to at school, and basically they were talking about the same thing, and somebody brought up the fact that it was a viral video of this white woman basically telling her biracial black daughter that, no, you can't have box braids or cornrows or whatever because you're gonna look ghetto, this, that, and the third. And it's like, okay, so why you had sex and married to a black man then? That's why I feel like they're just seeing you as a fetish and not actually appreciating your culture and who you are. And she was really, like, I feel like she was being very, like, verbally abusive to her daughter. So she's trying to erase her identity in a sense. She's trying to erase her blackness and make her more on the white side. And I feel like, especially if you have a black daughter, biracial black daughter, they feel even more pressure from society to conform to something that they clearly can never be. You can never, like, if you're not white, like, you're not going to pass for white, and you're not going to be accepted into the white community. That being said, I know you're going to have struggles in the black community, but you will be definitely way more accepted in the black community.
Black people be accepting everybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. Like, it be like Spanish people that look straight Caucasian, and they be like, but when we came off the boat, like, no, they're not.
Sis.
The same way Latinos could be black is the same way Latinos could be white. Like, y'all be accepting everybody. Like, everybody. But, what I was gonna say, again, to like what you was talking about, how the mother had a biracial daughter and was like trying to whitewash her. I feel like men, when they're dating these women,
they don't think about that.
Not that they don't think about that. I feel like you kind of hold those beliefs as well.
Probably,
because
right?
You probably think that your people have these same issues, which is why you're okay with this person saying it. Because if I'm gonna be honest, I feel like some people, they might, like, obviously you love who you fall in love with regardless of their race. If you fall in love with them, you just love them. But I feel like some people get into these relationships because they look down upon their own community.
It is.
So, like, again, like, if your partner is spewing ignorance and you're accepting of it, then you're just a self-hater. Like, because you're tolerating it.
Yeah. I feel like that's completely what it is. It's just the sad part is when children get involved, that's like, when it becomes a real issue.
The baby hates themselves too now.
Yeah, so now not only are you affecting yourself, you're dehumanizing a child that didn't ask for this. They didn't ask for this. And now look what you're doing. You're damaging that person. That person now has to learn how to love themselves. They have to do everything by themselves now because clearly the parents couldn't do it.
You messed them up.
Yeah, and the world not going to teach them. They got to teach themselves. So it's just, I don't know, it's sad.
The last one?
Yeah.
So,
wait, what about Slick? We didn't even talk about Slick.
Oh, Sweat. Let's go into Slick. Wait, didn't you talk about Slick? Okay, go ahead. Go on Slick.
Okay. So basically, all right, let me pull up the screenshots. We got to do this mad quick.
We almost to an hour, girl.
Shit.
Y'all listen, please. I know we said we was gonna time ourselves, but that didn't work. We'll try it again next time. Like, please listen.
Okay, so anyways, so the situation with Slick Johnson, y'all already know that she walked for Rihanna's
Fenty.
yes, Fenty, the Fenty line fashion show, and she was in labor. She gave birth. Well, she didn't give birth while she was walking, but she was in labor while she was walking. Her her water broke and everything, but she still killed it.
Mm-hmm.
But there was this like sort of like controversy on Twitter about her and about her accomplishments, and I went on Twitter and I saw some very like disgusting things. Basically, like this guy, it was mostly black men saying this.
Mm-hmm.
But black women were also,
putting their 2 cents.
exactly trying to agree with him or whatever. Basically saying that, she's ugly. I don't know why y'all think she's so pretty, da da da. And she didn't really accomplish anything. Like, y'all just hyping her up.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's always men that say things that are just so freaking like, y'all don't know like how revolutionary it is for a black woman to walk in a fashion show, number one, to be pregnant, number two, in heels, in labor. Like, y'all really don't understand why like this was so like monumental. And basically he was trying to say that being pregnant is not a handicap. And it's like, do you know that in the first couple of months, women have sickness so bad that they have to be in wheelchairs? Some women literally cannot even walk. Women die from giving birth. And you're over here talking about it's not a handicap. Like, every pregnancy is different and women go through so much. For you to talk down about women and like about that woman herself, like, you're disgusting to me. You know what I'm trying to say? And it's just like he got a lot of retweets. He got almost like 100K retweets. So I'm just like, okay, so a lot of people feel like this, and a lot of people liked it as well. So I'm like, okay, a lot of people feel the same way.
But that's weird to me though, because how is she treating it as a handicap if she did her job? Like, she still went walking, she still did her thing. So like, how is she trying to seem weak by her condition? Like,
it's just like when we as black women, when we like look up to this person and be like, look at this person right now, they're accomplishing this is so monumental.
There's
like
that one person that comes around,
to say some dumb shit. And it's like, when have you ever seen like pregnant woman in labor walk? Never. I bet you could not find that shit anywhere else. Like, do you know how hard it is to even be standing up when you're dilated?
Yeah,
like y'all don't know. I wish God would give y'all the miracle of producing birth. I wish men could, so y'all could fucking see how fucking hard it is.
Oh, you said they was talking about her features as well.
Yeah, so basically they were like, she's not all that cute, this and third. Y'all just overhyping it, blah blah blah. She looks weird. There are a bunch of really, really disgusting memes, and I just thought, that this is just a reflection of anti-blackness to me, in amongst like the black community, especially amongst black men, because to me she is a beautiful woman. Yes, she does not like look like what's the European standard, especially in modeling and this, that, and the third, but she's very beautiful. Her lips are beautiful to me. Her gap is beautiful to me. Her eyes, her nose, her whole body, her bald head. She's just like an image of beauty to me. And for you to kind of just like make fun of her, like, I feel like that is so like childish and like anti-black.
Like, I get it, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Everybody has different preferences and stuff like that. But it's just that, like, regardless of whether or not you find her attractive, why would you ever like try to take away from her shine?
Exactly.
Especially
and
you as a black person. Yeah, you as a black person, you should know better. Like, let her just do her thing or whatever. And the thing that I find, like, again, I also find her attractive or whatever. I mean, yeah. Like, to me, it's mostly like the vibe she give off. Like, she got a little swag to her. Like,
yeah.
She got a little swag. So that's what I think is like dope about her. Like, she seemed like she has a cool energy or whatever. But do you want to go to the Man Crush Monday now?
Yeah.
So on the Real recently, they brought up a topic about Man Crush Mondays and Woman Crush Wednesdays, and they basically said, in a relationship, would you have would you have an issue with your partner always putting out, oh, I'm crushing on this person or I'm crushing on that person, and like what's the difference between the person being a celebrity and a non-celebrity? Like, can they only have crushes on celebrities?
To me, crushes on celebrities are not real crushes. It's just like, like, oh, that's my like, it doesn't really mean anything. But if you're talking about somebody that's non-celebrity, then I feel like that's not okay to me personally. Just because it's like, people put celebrities on a pedestal, and it's like you're never really gonna meet that person. And I feel like that happens a lot in relationships. Like, me and my boyfriend talk about that all the time. Like, oh, like I would be asking him like, oh, who was your like celebrity crush or whatever, and his is, I think, Jennifer Lawrence or whatever. And I'm just like, I don't really care. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm not worried because that person's not infatuated with that person. But if it's like kind of like a local person or someone you both know, then I feel like that's low key, like, it's a red flag to me.
Yeah, like for me, like I understand you have a crush on a particular celebrity, but I feel like even if it was a celebrity, are you like posting their picture on your page every Monday, Wednesday?
Shit.
Like, are you doing it?
If you
like,
doing that, that's OG.
I just feel like if y'all around each other and y'all be kikiing and y'all be playing like, oh, this is my, like, I find this person attractive. Like, it just Alba's beautiful to me. Yeah. Like, if you have a thing like that and you're like, oh, this person is attractive, then that's fine. But even if it's a celebrity, I feel like regardless of whether or not it's accessible to you, I just feel like if you abuse the situation, it's too much. Like, are you how often are you posting this? And like, why is the person picture always on your page? And like, if people have it and they're always posting that celebrity but they never post the person they're in a relationship with, it's like, then are you single or not? Like, it's a red flag. Do you go in their DMs? Like, nah, like, what's going on right now or
and
whatever?
I feel like in relationships too, like, just posting man crush Mondays when, like, it would just feel odd, like, just in general. It don't have to be a celebrity. Like, in general, I feel like it's like not something that's it's not something on the like top of your mind. Like, it shouldn't be like something you're always thinking about. And if you're like a frequent poster on Instagram or whatever, I just feel like it should not be one of your frequent posts. Like, relax. I feel like that's something more for single people. That's more like, because when you're in a relationship, you just focus more on your partner. You're doing more. You're just too busy. Like, especially if you're a student, you're busy with school, you're busy with work. You don't have time to be doing all that. Maybe you do. Maybe you do have time to be doing that. I don't know. But
and that's the thing. If it's somebody that you actually know, though, that's weird as hell.
That is old.
That is like weird. If the person like works with the person, like, dang, what y'all doing at work? All up in their face. Like,
nah, that's nasty.
I just feel like that's weird. Like, y'all doing too much. But
that's another thing. Like, work bays. No, there's no work bays. I feel like I just started hearing that. Like, oh, this is my bay at work. No.
Like, what you mean? How this your bae? Y'all be acting different with her than you do with your other people?
You sound like an episode of
you sound like a
General Hospital.
Yeah.
I don't know. Y'all probably don't even know what that is. That's an old ass soap opera. But I think it's still going on. But I don't know.
I think it might. Or they might have canceled it. I don't know.
I think it's ending this year, maybe. Yes.
But yeah. But yeah. So is that everything?
Yeah, I think that's everything for today. Okay, we didn't go over an hour, so hey, that's
we didn't go over an hour, but we dumb close. So thank you guys for listening this far. Again, in our future segments, we'll try to like time each topic more. Each was supposed to be 10 minutes, but clearly we didn't listen to that. We'll try to do better next time, and also give suggestions of topics you'd like us to touch on. And comment below any takes you have on the topics we discussed or any feedback, and we'll consider it.
Right. So thank you again so much for listening, if you listened to this point, because sis, I know this was a long one. It wasn't as long as before, but this was a long one. Once again, you can follow me on Instagram at DAMLOVE 1053. That's DomLove 1053. That's also my Twitter account, and my YouTube is Dear Dami.
Okay, and I forgot my Instagram name, but I'm gonna post it below. I think my Instagram name is _ ybm.unruly.mess _ but if that's not it, I'm gonna post it below regardless, and I go by the name Eon. I also have a blog that's I forgot the name of, which is very unprofessional, but I'll post it below. I believe my blog is ybmunrulymess.weebly.com. Is that what it is?
Listen, it'll be a link because they're not going to
I'm so sorry, y'all. Like, I had quizzes back to back. I'm tired. I feel like I'm failing at life because I keep, like, missing out these assignments. But I'm going to get my life together or whatever. And our next segment, we're probably going to be speaking about college life. So that'll be something else you guys could look out for.
Please, like, leave questions, like, what y'all want us to talk about, like, with college and things like that, because then we could, like, from there, we can kind of, like, narrow things down to, like, what y'all want more, so we could, like, you know, give y'all exactly what y'all want to chat about.
Yeah, so you guys please, like, comment below and give us feedback because it's all based on what you guys want. And again, we're, like, going through the process of selecting different names. So remember, Dami will be doing a poll test on her page, which the link will be below again. And you guys could, like, suggest different things. Like, do you think we should stay with young BLUNT Lola? Dami was also thinking of Black Girl Therapy, but, like, we're also going through different things or whatever. So, like, if you think of a name that you think would be suitable, let us know.
All right. Once again, thank you so much for listening to this morning.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll talk to you guys next week. Oh wait, is it next week or in 2 weeks? Well, yes, we'll see y'all.
We'll see.
We'll see y'all.
Later, y'all.